Hello, welcome to episode 14 of the Crushing Through Life podcast. Your host, Rob. We have Jim. How's it going, Ben?
What's going on, Robbie?
We're up and running. We're live. All of our episodes, or our first 13 episodes, I should say, are up there. They're up there on the interwebs for you to listen to.
Yep, they're out there.
Exciting times. We are live in all major platforms: Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts. I think we got Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, anywhere you listen to a podcast. Really, I think you'll find us. Just search for us for crushing through life. I don't know why I'm telling you this now in the episode that you're listening to, but you can also find us on anchor.fm/crushing through life. I think we still need to figure out iTunes and Stitcher, though. I think that's the other two major platforms that we're missing. So I don't know. Have you checked on your phone on iTunes if we were up there? Well, we could do that. We could do that after.
I haven't, because I have not.
Okay, no worries.
I actually hadn't heard of half those ones that you just listed off.
Neither have I. Let's start off with our quote. So today's quote comes from Muhammad Ali, the greatest.
Ooh.
You ready for this one?
Yep.
Impossible is just a word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is potential. Impossible is temporary. Impossible is nothing. I felt like I didn't do that quote justice.
I like it, just kept going for me. Muhammad Ali, man of I thought he was a man of few words, but the guy just never shut up apparently with these quotes. Oh, that's a cool one.
Yeah. Rest in peace to the greatest man. Did you actually know that? I'd actually learned this today. He actually isn't named Muhammad Ali. You know his real name?
Cassius Clay.
Cassius Clay. Yeah, which I didn't know till I was looking him up.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that unless you brought it up. But it's one of those things. It's like it's somewhere stored. I knew
Deep in the archives.
Yeah, deep in the archives. But that's it kind of reminds me of I think you said a Michael Phelps one time, and it's like it's not surprising that all these people, when you're reading these quotes, they're like literally the number one athletes in their field. They just have that attitude, right? That nothing is impossible, and they can do it. They can get to the top and be a champion. Yeah. So pretty cool, obviously, to see like what these people are capable of. Like the top athletes, so that's their mindset. That's where you have to be if you want to succeed.
Day in, day out, man. Absolutely. So I guess we should also mention that we're up on Instagram. You can search for us there, follow us, Crushing Through Life. And also you can even send us a voice note. And if you go to anchor.fm/crushing through life, you can actually send a voice note. If you want your voice to be added to our episode, you can ask us questions. We can throw it in there. Please go ahead, send us a voice note, and we'll see what we can do about getting you on the episode if you'd like to be a part of it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, pretty sweet feature. I just noticed that too. Anchor.fm, for anyone who's interested in starting a podcast, it's a fantastic platform, very easy to use, and I found it out there in the wild, and basically just signed up for it for our needs, and it's doing great. It's really, really, really well built. Can't recommend it enough if you're really looking to start one, especially since a lot of hosting services for podcasts are not free. Anchor.fm is free. So yeah, go check them out. And I guess pretty soon, like I have some ideas, like we should probably even register web domains or like a little tiny blog to try to get more of a reach with our audience. Yeah, maybe I'll look into that as our next project as we grow later on.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So we just finished up Easter, man. How was your Easter?
That we did a family Zoom call with the in-laws on Sunday morning, and everyone was joking that this is the second annual Easter Zoom call now. I can't believe we've been through a year of this, and Still not out of it yet. No, no sign. Like we're in lockdown number 3 or 4. I don't know. I can't. We don't leave the house much,
Yeah.
so like it honestly doesn't matter. And that's that's what Easter was. It kind of sucks, but that's just where we are right now in the world. And um, like I actually my whole side of the family, neither side did a Zoom call or anything, or at least maybe they did and I wasn't invited. But yeah, I doubt it. But yeah, so I mean, no ham, no we didn't like just I forget I don't even know what we ate. But yeah, usually like on my dad's side for Easter, we always had a nice ham. That was so good. Seeing all my cousins and aunts and uncles. Definitely miss that this time of year a lot.
Yeah.
How was yours?
It was pretty good, man. We did a small little we actually didn't do an Easter hunt this time. We did gather a bunch of gifts for our son Nico, and we made a little gift basket for him to wake up to in the morning from the Easter bunny that was left over. So that was a lot of fun. We did end up going to go see my immediate parents. We just did the immediate family. Nothing extended, which I do miss quite a bit, because usually around Easter time we have, my cousins and my aunts and uncles come over. We all get together. And we do a big Easter gathering, but we just kept it the immediate family for now. But it was fantastic because I haven't seen my parents since Christmas time.
Right.
So there's been such huge long gap, and I really miss my mom and my dad, and I really wanted to see them, and they miss seeing Nico. And of course us as well, but they really missed seeing Nico and wanted to give him a big hug and kiss as soon as he walked in the door, right? So, but it was nice. We gathered, we sat down, had a nice Easter brunch / dinner. It was kind of like an early dinner, I guess. Yeah, just kind of, and it was a nice day. It was a beautiful Easter Sunday.
Yeah,
got to spend outside a little bit. Yeah. My dad got this like he built a swing in the backyard for Nico, like a little kid swing, which is actually is getting kind of too big for it now. So I think we might have to like cut it and make it like one little strap swing, because it's kind of like a bucket seat. And we were pushing him on that, and he was having a blast just being outside in the backyard. But yeah,
that's awesome.
It was great, man. Yeah, it was great. A lot of chocolate.
It's funny. So you mentioned like we didn't do an Easter egg hunt. I actually forgot that was a thing. Like I'm so removed from that sort of child, like the magic of holidays for the Easter bunny and Santa and all that stuff. The magic of Christmas, that we don't really, Jess and I aren't going to sell, like we're not going to hide eggs for each other. I suppose we could, maybe people do that, but I totally forgot, and I saw it on Instagram. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to love that. So I wanted to ask you what your tradition was kind of growing up. So for us, we had to go to church on Easter morning. So we would go to, I forget which mass, like maybe 6:00 mass or 9. And then the Easter bunny had left stuff. The Easter bunny came while we were at mass every year when we were, and then my sister and I would find, chocolate and eggs, and
did a big hunt.
Did a big hunt. And it was really fun. I totally forgot about that, because it's just, it's not a thing that Jess and I are doing, or, before the last 10 years I've lived with people our age. So we're not going to hear it all. And if anything, you just go home for Easter, but kind of too old for the hunt.
Sure.
So what do you do, or what did you do when you were growing up?
I think next year, I was going to say, I think next year we'll definitely do it for sure with him. You got to keep the hunt alive, You can't let the hunt go
That's
away.
what I mean. Like I love that. He was just a
little bit. He was just. I mean, even he just turned 4, so I think he's just a little bit too young to just like go around like looking for eggs or whatever. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did the Easter egg hunt. We also did. I remember like painting, a lot of painting eggs as kids.
Yeah,
the watercolor and all that. So we did a lot of that.
Yeah, we used to do that too. Again, I didn't even list that. I forgot. Yeah,
and of course, the Italian culture, like we received these big, massive chocolate eggs. I don't know if it's an Italian thing or not, but like we've always received those huge, massive like chocolate Easter eggs, which are like we always look forward to as a kid.
Yeah.
Big Kinder Surprise, a lot of Kinder Surprise. It's like the only time of the year I'll eat a Kinder Surprise. It's Easter.
You don't like them?
No, I don't. I mean, it's a great chocolate. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't go out of my way to buy,
Okay.
a Kinder Surprise in my 30s. So, but yeah, other than that, I got to tell you, before Easter, I had a big craving for pizza. Okay. So I know we're doing our 30-day challenge. And I said to myself, I can't order fast food. That's part of the rule, and I want to do 10,000 steps in a day. That's my goal. So I figured, why don't I walk to the grocery store? And the grocery store is about, the 2K walk, 2K back from where we live. We're not too close to a grocery store. So why don't I walk to the grocery store, bring a backpack, buy the ingredients, and make a homemade pizza with my kid and my wife, and make it like a family experience. So
now you're talking.
Now we're talking, right? So
now we're cooking with gas.
I walked to the grocery store. First of all, I did some research online. Ingredients, oven temperature, time. And let me just say, what is going on with the food blogs? And let me tell you, these food blogs, it's like you look up a simple recipe. It's like, well, I discovered this recipe while I was on vacation and blah, blah, blah. It's like, let me just get to the details and the nitty gritty. And then as you're scrolling down to get to the details of just give me the ingredients and the steps. Yeah. There's like 30 ads.
Oh man. Yeah. See, I'm not frequenting.
Yeah. Life story. Well, yeah. And especially on your mobile phone, we're just like, my phone's like struggling to load this page. Yeah. Life story, 30 ads, and then like everything is just what you want is just on the bottom. And I apologize for not putting my phone on silent. It is now on silent.
Oh, amateur
hour. You heard that ding? I know. Episode 14. You think I'd have that on lock? So I head over to the grocery store, buy the ingredients, walk back, which added and completed my 10K for that day, which is great. Got together with my family, made pizza, man. We stretched out, like Nico helped out stretch out the dough. He put on the sauce, he put on the pepperoni, the cheese, and all that. 400 degrees, 15 minutes. It was delicious. So good. Oh man, it was perfectly cooked. Couldn't gone any better.
That's awesome. And it wasn't complicated anyway. Like the ingredients. I mean,
no, man.
You just listed as kind of what I would guess.
That's it.
But
just little olive oil on the pan there. You got the dough. Stretch it out. Put your ingredients on top. 15 minutes. 400 degrees. There you go. I'm saving you some time. You don't have to load these ads and read a life story.
Yeah, I wouldn't make it through. I'd just be like, I don't know. There's probably not even a recipe here. That's awesome. That's really cool. And
yeah.
So yeah, you can easily do it again. Obviously, and it's less time than I would have guessed. Like 15 minutes is pretty good. I would have guessed like 30 or something like that, right?
Yeah, but I guess it wasn't like it didn't take a long time to make either, because we bought pre-made dough. I'll tell you that much. So if you're thinking we made the dough, we did not. We bought pre-made dough. We bought pre-cut pepperoni. We threw it together essentially. But I think next time I would want to make my own dough. Just to give it that extra mile, like a half-assed homemade,
like an adult version of those Lunchables, like where you used to get and you had to put the sauce from the little package and then the cheese and the pepperoni.
I ate so many of those as a kid.
We didn't have too many of those. Like my lunches as a kid were kind of just like vegetables, maybe some cheese, like little snacks almost, as opposed to like an actual lunch. Yes. I'm just so picky, and I found that like if I brought a sandwich, the only thing I liked was peanut butter, and actually weird enough, brown sugar. Mm-hmm. So like peanut butter and brown sugar sandwiches. But then you couldn't take peanut butter into this to school, and also like if you have that just sitting in your backpack for like 4 hours, it's kind of gross. So but anyways, I didn't have any Lunchables as a kid.
I could just picture you eating a peanut butter and brown sugar sandwich.
Man, I used to eat those all the time.
Warm, sitting there for 4 hours. That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I've had definitely some thrown together lunches as a kid. I remember eating a lot of Nutella sandwiches, and then downing that with a fruit punch box. and then as for dessert, you have a Dunkaroo, and there you go. You're ready to build a snow fort in recess.
Yeah,
a lot of sugar.
Yeah, man.
But anyway,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, going back to the pizza, it was perfect. It was delicious.
That's really sweet. So, what night did you do that on?
Geez, I can't remember, but it was like a week before Easter. It was like a weekday, but it was an experience because it was like, get the kid involved.
Yeah,
get him to make his own food, then get him to taste his own food. And then realize that we've been lying to him this entire time with frozen pizza.
Hey, it's not delivery.
It was, it tasted it tasted awesome. It came out really well.
That's really cool. I mean, I don't think we had any crazy meals. We're still doing good food most weeks, but then sometimes we look at they give you like a whole bunch of options, and there are just times where Jess has a look and it's not really stuff we want to try. But the cool part about it is you get all the other recipes, right? So we can then just go to the store and we'll make something that we liked in the past. So like the one that we actually really like is this lasagna thing. It's like a lasagna. I don't know, like lasagna takes a long time. When Jess makes a really, really good lasagna, but it takes her like a couple hours with all the layers and everything, and then you have to bake it. This thing is just it's like a skillet almost lasagna. It's kind of tough to explain. I actually, one of the days I made it, I sent a picture to our high school group chat, and everyone was like, "What is that abomination of lasagna? Like, it's not." And then when it is actually done, everyone's like, "Okay, that actually looked pretty good."
Gotta give it some time.
Yeah, like nothing crazy for us in terms of food like that. But we're not the super most adventurous when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Well, have you ever made a pizza or a pizza dough by yourself from scratch?
I don't think so.
Okay. I would give you some homework and say you should absolutely do that. Like one day, go out with walk to the. I mean, I don't remember how far the grocery store. I think you're pretty far away, but you can go to the grocery store, get the ingredients, and make your own pizza at home, man. And it's just it's just a good experience, and it's fun to get messy and dirty, and you're just laughing, and you throw in the pizza, and it's just amazing afterwards. So we did ours with like pepperoni, fresh. We got like the fresh basil. And it was just like phenomenal, like mozzarella, delicious.
That's awesome.
All that.
You guys have a good spot for that too, in your kitchen with the way that it kind of like it's almost like an island, but it's connected. Like because you guys can all be around, as opposed to like for us, the kitchen's pretty cramped, but it's only two of us, right? But for three of you, I feel like that's a perfect area where you have lots of space to kind of get messy, like you said, but it's not, even though it's the three of you guys, like it's still nice to not be stepping on each other's toes also.
It actually reminds me of like just making pizza. Like this time last year, everyone's making sourdough bread. Like that was the thing. What was that? What meme was that? It was like COVID wrong lockdown. Everyone's making sourdough bread. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know what the big craze was with that, but I mean,
we were going to do that. I remember you and I were talking about that. We're going to do a big sourdough bread. I think so. I think we made a joke about that in passing.
You know what? I don't even know if I've ever eaten sourdough bread. So like then to go to making it all of a sudden, where I won't. I'm too snooty for the store bought. I got to make my own. That'd be funny.
So going back to the podcast here, man, I'm so stoked to have this live and to see people listening. We've already received comments, obviously from our close friends and family members, but people seem to like it. I even had people that there are coworkers who have commented that they like listening to it. And
Mhm.
it's one thing that you hear from a friend that they're excited about it and they enjoy listening to it. And yeah, there's just some sort of bias there, but like they're like, no, you know what? I actually like I enjoy listening to the podcast. Like it's actually pretty good. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, really
You know.
cool to have that feedback. And
Mhm.
I know you and I have obviously discussed this since we released it, but it was pretty. I was nervous, I guess, to put yourself out there, right? Because before we kind of always planned to do it, but then all of a sudden it was live, and it was a different feeling. Um, like because you're vulnerable, I guess, right? But yeah, like you said, I mean, all the feedback's been super positive. It makes it really, really feel worth it. My mom said that obviously, like I haven't been able to see her too often because of COVID, and she misses me, and she thought it was pretty cool to like hear us talking where it sounds, and my dad said the same thing, where it sounds like they're like part of the combo. And that was I didn't think of that it would connect
That's
us,
interesting.
right? So
Okay, cool. So they're just like listening in on the conversation, or they're part of the conversation as they're listening.
yeah, they feel like they're
Nice.
part of it, which is
Right.
really cool. And yeah, so I mean, I didn't think of that. My sister said she missed my voice, and it's not something that I would have thought of. But definitely, like for my mom and my sister, maybe more in the last years when I was living in Aurora, she could probably just like hearing your laugh and my laugh or whatever, just brings back to like you coming over to the house and us just like goofing around in the basement or whatever, right? Like, um, so it's pretty cool. That yeah, definitely nerve wracking for sure. But so happy we did it. Feels great.
Yeah,
And
man.
thanks to you for doing all the work. I will admit I'm not super handy when it comes to this kind of stuff. So very appreciative that
Don't
you.
worry, I'll give you some tests.
Oh boy. Yeah, let's get that domain up. Eh? I'm like, oh boy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who do you think's making the blog? um, yeah. Well, I think one point too is the podcast has really helped my public speaking a lot. I tend to stutter, and even I was listening back to like the first couple of episodes. I'm like, I cringe every time I stutter or I can't think of a sentence. Like forge a sentence together essentially, like I am now actually.
Hey, we're organic, nothing
Yeah,
edited. That's who we are. We
that's
can't,
right.
and everything's not perfect. It's not rehearsed. So if you mess up, and that's the thing too. Like I mess up all the time in real life. Like I constantly put the words wrong. I put the words in the wrong order while I speak all the time, and
Right.
I don't know if I've done it on the podcast. Probably have, but
Where was I? Okay, podcast. Yes, definitely help with actually helping with public speaking, for sure. I have a work presentation coming up this week, and in my new role, I'm an IT security manager. I actually have to present in front of the entire company for the very first time on the 8th coming up here. So I was pretty nervous, but after even releasing the podcast and hearing my voice again, after re-listening to all the previous episodes, definitely made me feel more comfortable in presenting like a PowerPoint slide. And I'm added a
nice.
few jokes in there and made it funny. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about like 10. I got about like 10 to 12 slides, like talking about email spoofing and phishing and password security, auditing,
Okay.
looking at your physical space, all those sorts of IT security topics and all that. So pretty excited, looking forward to doing that. Hopefully it goes well and smoothly.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet actually. If it's helping you develop in other ways, or just improve public speaking, because obviously that's a super important part of your job. If you're
Mm.
especially IT, like you're almost for where you want to go, and you're doing other certifications and that kind of thing. Like a lot of it is going to be transferring knowledge that you have, and you're going to have like the easiest way is through your communication, through your voice. So it's pretty cool that that you feel that it's improved.
Like I think I meant to bring this up earlier in earlier episodes because it's a little bit of a personal topic, I guess. but my department had a network manager, and his name was also named Jim. And he's been with this company since the 90s, long time. And unfortunately, hurts to say, he passed away in December after a quick battle with cancer.
Oh man.
But yeah, I was just thinking about him yesterday, and I was like, I should probably talk to him. I want to give a little bit of praise to this guy. His name's Jim Reynolds. He was a fantastic mentor, and I owe a lot to him in my current role that I'm doing now. I mean, he taught me pretty much everything I know what I'm doing now in that role. I kind of stepped into his shoes, so to speak,
Right.
after he left to deal with his health a year before his passing. But yeah, his favorite quote that we, even our department, we still speak it all the time, is Windows loves a reboot.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
That's cool. You keep his memory, his legend is still alive every time you say it, right?
It's funny in IT, because when somebody leaves for whatever reason, if they quit their job or they're let go or they're passed or whatever, there's still a ghost that exists, whether you're looking at that person's notes or their login credentials or your, whatever, any documentation that they may have, you're still reminded.
Still a footprint.
Yeah, man, you're still reminded of that person all the time. And I'm going through, I was working on a complicated issue, like to basically connect a hard drive to a new server in our department. And I couldn't figure it out, because it was like the new technology, and Jim always took care of it, but I had to like go into his notes and figure it out. And just kind of was like, I gotta speak well towards his name. Wanted to mention in the podcast. So he was a great mentor to me, and I think that everyone in their career, wherever you work, hopefully you have that person. And maybe it's outside of your work. It could be someone in your personal life. You have that mentor that you can go to and ask questions, and basically shadow your skill set. Or shadow them so you can grow your skill set, essentially.
Right.
And he was definitely that person for me.
Oh, that's awesome, then.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry to hear about that, especially if you guys were close. But it's cool that you've continued on and used what you learned from him, and then transfer that to other people, and now the importance of his role to you, and you can be that to somebody else down the road. So
and it starts to even finding a mentorship, or even like now that I've learned from him, and I start to think about that stuff now too with new IT guys. Like, you kind of want to do the same thing. You stop to be selfish, right? Where you like gain this knowledge and you keep it to yourself, but you kind of want to start to teach someone else.
Right.
I'm only 32, but like you start to think that even at this age, you want to pass this knowledge down to the new guys and teach them, or have them ask you questions as much as possible. Right. When I was working with Jem, he was like the smartest guy in our group, and like I would always go into his office as much as possible and try to learn whatever I can from him. He would bring me in, or he would even start on a project that I wouldn't know anything about, and he would actually call my name to bring me into the office and work on it together. So,
right on, man. That's cool.
Yeah. You ever had that person in your life?
Yeah, I guess it sort of like comes and goes. I guess like I've had one at every job, so to say. At Lids, it was my old boss, I'd say, and then I had so much knowledge that training, a new assistant man, like both of my staff members when I left were store managers. So it was kind of cool to like watch them develop and and become leaders. in that. And then, my new job, like my not my direct supervisor, but my actual boss, he's a machine when it comes to knowledge and how to do things. And I've been going to him for a really long time with like personal stuff, that kind of thing. He just breaks stuff like very easily. Can break down a situation and kind of talk it through logically, ethically. So I just respect his opinion with that kind of thing.
Nice. Yeah, it's very important to have those people in your life that there's a sounding board. I owe that a lot to my current boss too. My current boss, I go up to her and she's our IT director, and then if there's an issue, she always has your back, and she will always kind of walk you through what you need to do or get you the right resource to finish your task. Or if it's a personal issue, she's very family oriented, which I think a lot, if that weighs a lot these days. Having a boss that's very understanding to, my wife has this health issue. I can't work today. I got to drive her to the doctor, or I got to babysit. I hate using the word babysit as a term when you're a dad, but like, you got to watch your kid and while she needs to go to the doctor or whatever. It's great to have that person in your life that, you can talk to, who is your boss, any work related issue, but also any personal related issue, which is awesome to have these days for sure.
There was an old guy at Lids. Actually, he's not. Well, the crazy thing is, I think he was like maybe 32 when I first met him. But he was in loss prevention, and this guy was pretty solid. I feel like he was very, very good at his job, and I respected him a lot. But I feel like I learned a bunch from him, but I didn't really, pan out to anything loss prevention related. But he was pretty good. And now it's weird that I was, 24, maybe 25 when I started at Lids, I want to say, and I'm turning 33 on Saturday, so now I'm his age. And I used to think, hey, actually, this is like I was like, hey, he's older than me, but he's still pretty young. And now I'm hitting it. I'm like, that's kind of a compliment. So. Still pretty young.
What's it say on your shirt there?
It's my buddy's company. It's called Live High, and it's the model of it is just whatever gets you up, then go do it. Like live life to make sure that you're doing your passion, whatever it may be. His is traveling. I think it's just livehigh.org. Definitely check it out because he had like his is traveling, and he goes to some really, really cool places. I think he's in Panama right now. But he was in Hawaii, he's in Costa Rica, he went to Iceland I think it was Iceland last year for, I don't know, like a month or 2 months. It's pretty cool though.
That's amazing. My friend went to Iceland recently, and I've always wanted to go check it out. It's great because we have the beauty of YouTube and just check, you can see these places online, but man, when you check out Iceland, it's just like you want to go on an adventure, man. It looks so cool.
Well, actually, I know, like we have a bunch of our friends went. I don't know how long ago, maybe like 4 years ago.
Right.
And then my old coworker, he went to Iceland as well. So a lot of people have gone there. It's pretty unique spot for that many people to go, which I guess shows. I forget. I think they said the cost of food there is outrageous. Like it's so high. Yeah.
Box of cereal, $12. Yeah, for sure, man. You gotta bring it up there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a lot of places in northern Canada as well, man. Like a lot of like none of it. I'm sure a lot of food and groceries are extremely expensive, right? To ship all that stuff all the way up there.
There was a store, a Lids store, I think in Timmins, I want to say, Timmins, Ontario, and they don't have the same. So like every other store manager's bonus and like their pay, like everything is kind of structured around Christmas and the whole Christmas sketch because it's so busy. It's the busiest time of year. Timmins was different. So basically, their busiest time of the year is sometime in the spring, because the ice on the, like, where it's like an island, so they can drive over the ice. But then once the ice melts, you have to take a plane, which is super expensive.
Oh,
So
wow.
everybody goes nuts with spending before the ice melts. So they have some like random day in early spring, like, you know, probably it's already passed at this point in time of the year. That's their like Christmas, because they get so much business from people that they're not going to be able to come back here for 6 months, 7 months, right? So they
I
get
didn't know that.
all their shopping done. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it when my old bosses explained that to me.
And this is in Timmins?
Yeah, Timmins, Ontario.
All right, I'll have to check
I think
that
it was
out.
Timmins.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Like definitely smaller store. Like honestly shocked they would have a lids, but I've never been there, I guess, so shouldn't really comment. Sorry
No,
to anybody from Timmins that may or may not hear this.
And if you are from Timmins, please send us a voice note at anchor.fm/crushing through life. I got to tell you, I got one last thing here to tell you, which I think you'll laugh at this one. So
hit me with it.
Dorian Tyrell, The Mask. You know, the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey. Evil guy Dorian Tyrell.
So actually, I've never seen it.
Oh no, this joke won't make any sense then. You've never seen The Mask?
No, I never did.
Oh, this podcast is over.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had a good run, you know. It was 14 episodes.
14 episodes. Let's wrap it up.
14 and a half. We'll just stop this one.
I can't believe that. You've never seen The Mask. That is insane.
Well, it's like now it's not a movie I'm gonna, you know, go check out. I think I was too, you know what, maybe I have seen parts of it where like it would have been on TV, but I don't think, like, I have a pretty good memory when it comes to, you know, movies, films, that kind of thing. But I don't remember any part of that movie, like besides obviously seeing it. Like,
no, I'll explain the joke anyway. So basically, Dorian Tyrell is the bad guy in The Mask. And when he has the mask on, you know, he's got this deep, and hopefully I'm not spoiling this 90s movie. He's got this deep evil voice. And Terry goes up to me. He's like, "Oh, can I get a kiss before you start your podcast?" And I turn around to her and I go, "There's always time for one last kiss." And that is a line from the movie.
Is that the one where he's like, "Smoookin"?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
That again, I don't know if I've seen it. So do you, because obviously like this is a weird one to maybe not have seen for our generation. Maybe the majority of people have seen it. What's a movie gap that you have that's like,
you know what? I will tell you a movie that I haven't seen that will blow everyone's mind.
Yeah, what's
your
the movie?
Mind? Yeah, like the movie I haven't seen.
Yeah.
There's actually two.
Okay.
E.T.
Oh.
I've never watched E.T.
Wow.
And The Goonies.
You know what? I like that. It's not as bad as I was like. There's people, you know, that obviously aren't big movie people that like haven't seen Gladiator or haven't seen, I don't know, The Departed or things like that. And it's like, how did you make it through being like born in 1988 and not have seen like either of those movies, you know, growing up as a male? Then
right.
The Goonies is not a total shocker, I think, because we would have been too young to like see it in theater, I want to say. Or maybe I don't even know when it was made. If it was made in the 80s, then obviously we'd, you know, not possible. But even when you're like 4 or 5, I doubt it. So, you know, it's like one of those classic ones that you see at some point. My grandma actually worked at Video 99 in Aurora.
No way. Video 99?
So we got, yeah, it's where
that's awesome.
I forget I think there's a bar in that area. There's a Shoppers Drug Mart now. It was at Young and Aurora Heights Drive, I want to say.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you're right. Young and Aurora Heights. Yeah.
So we would have tons of movies like that, you know, she would just, so like she'd seen everything. So movies that you'd never even heard of that I couldn't even recall at this point. You know, one-off ones that are, you know, no one had ever seen. So that's why I would watch The Goonies for things like that. But not a total shock. E.T. is more surprising, I think, because like they even did a re-release, and after it was a 20-year anniversary, they put it back out in the theaters. I actually went to see it with my aunt, uncle, and sister. Maybe E.T. used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid. Like we would turn the lights off at night, and I would see shadows that looked like him on the wall, and I go running for my mom and dad. Like it was terrifying.
I actually had something similar like that happen to me when I was a kid. I would go to bed and sleep, and like cars that would drive by, like the headlights would like shine across my room if my blinds were, I guess, open, which I for some reason they were a few times. The headlights would shine across my room, and I would think there were UFOs the entire time.
Oh yeah.
It would freak me the fuck out.
Yeah.
I hated it for some reason. Like just these headlights just shine. Like it's just a UFO. You know,
I get it.
A fear of aliens for some reason.
And without seeing ET, like, so I mean, I'm sure that I wasn't the only one, but at the same time, like, you know, not to spoil this for you, but he's a friendly alien. And now, like looking back, I love the movie. I think it's really great. Pretty sure Spielberg did it. He crushes it. And it's the idea of like the man for a lot of it. Like they don't show the adult's face. They're just like eventually they show the face, but it's just like also, you know how who was it that used to always hold their keys in high school? Do you remember there's a teacher, or like they would have the carabiner right on their front pants pocket? Anyways, in ET, like the main, I guess you could call it villain that's trying to find the aliens. But the main villain, he has the keys and he's like running through the forest at one point, and his keys are kind of like they're just bouncing against his pants in his front pocket. And it's like a very, very clear image to me of that. I don't know why.
Right.
That's how I know. If I'd seen The Mask, I would know it. I have like, you know, I don't forget plots and that kind of thing. But
fair enough.
Yeah, that's one. Actually, another gap that I have for movies is I have never seen A Clockwork Orange. You know, for like the highly acclaimed.
I watched A Clockwork Orange too young in my life. Like I was a little bit too young to watch that movie, let me tell you. Yeah. That's a really good movie. I would recommend it for sure. But yeah, like whenever that question comes up, like what movie you haven't seen, that like everyone, it's always ET. Everyone just blows my, like, even, but you know what, just going back to The Mask, you should totally still watch it. Honestly, I think it still holds up to this day. There's still some really good scenes in there. And it's just a classic 90s Jim Carrey movie, you know?
Yeah. So like some of them were good for me and some of them were bad. Like Cable Guy was terrible.
Well, this isn't Cable Guy. This is The Mask. But yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
And like, you know, I still quote, what's his other one? Ace Ventura with Nick Capo all the time. Yeah. Like Capo always says a couple of lines from there. I actually didn't. I send you guys the quote from the first one, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, the other day, where he's like, "That kind of surgery can be done over the weekend."
Yeah, that movie couldn't be released these days. That's for sure. For sure.
Not. And what was I going to say? Yeah, so like I bet you I would like it because, you know, those movies were good. Liar Liar, you know, all those ones. Like you said, just classic. But yeah, I guess I don't know what it was. I just there was one that got away.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Please listen to us and follow us on Instagram. This has been Crushing Through Life with Rob and Jim. Take care, everybody.
Thanks.